Hello all, and welcome to another night's beer review, which I am dubbing the continued exhaustion beer review because exhaustion is pretty much defining my life at this moment. Working so many hours at two different jobs, 2 different hours, and 2 different types. But I'm doing it all so that I have beer. Because beer makes the world a better place. And what beer do we have that here? Well, we have... Sorry. I'm going to go and fix this light angle here. Golden Roll Brewery's Get Up Off of That Brown. This is made in LA. I picked this up because it was one of the few craft beers at 7-Eleven at 12 at night. I get done with work pretty late. And Kailua doesn't really have a plethora of choices available upon which to buy beer that late at night. In fact, it might have been a little bit before 12 o'clock because apparently Hawaii law says you can't go and buy alcohol after 12 o'clock. Because, I don't know, degeneracy or something. So, this is a brewery from LA. This was canned fairly recently, thank goodness, in November. This is a 5.5 ABV. I think they really play up the fact they're from LA. Look at this. Really LA-ish, eh? So, it's a brown ale. Hence the name Get Up Off of That Brown. And I'm going to open this now. Been letting this warm up a little bit. It is definitely a brown ale color. Red when you shine it up to the light. It's light passes through it at least, so you get a red, almost a ruby color, but when it's away from the light you don't really see much of anything except at the bottom. With a light beige head. And it is quickly receding. Very nutty malts. Hint of floral hop bitterness, and some notes of chocolate, and toasted brown bread. Somewhat light on the palate, but not overly so. Definitely tastes a little bit darker than your average brown ale. There's sweetness there, but it's a very light sweetness for the style. The finish is somewhat hoppy. A lot of bittering hops in the finish. It's just a tad too hoppy in the finish for me. It's nowhere near like American stout, so it's not resinous, it's not got like an IPA style, heavily boosted IPU, but it definitely is very hoppy in the finish for the brown ale style. Front is slightly roasty and nutty. Nuttiness rises in the mid palate. Then you have that hop bitterness and lingering light hop bitterness on the tongue, and also roasty malts on the tongue. Interestingly, the head recedes very quickly, but it leaves a nice lacing nevertheless. So you have that sort of toasted bread, toasted brown bread, some bittersweet notes in the front, but not much nuance to that bittersweetness. It meshes with that hop bitterness. It is just at that threshold of a little bit too hoppy for me, and I think that's not so much because it has an excess of hops, but because it's very dry for a brown ale. Now, a brown ale shouldn't be, you know, sweet. It shouldn't be porterish. It's much less like an, thick imperial stout. But it should definitely have a bit of a residual sugar there that, you know, gives it a lot more of those chocolate notes, of those sweet notes in there. This is very much on the dry side. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. No really offensive flavors here. For those looking at that, if you're like me, probably needs a little bit more sweetness, leans a little bit too much to hoppiness, but again, it is not resinous, it is not over hopped. I think it's just an artifact of there not being a lot of residual sugars in this. That combined with it not being not really having a lot of dimensions on the palate. You know, if it was just tweaked a little bit more towards a greater amount of residual sugars, I think I would like it a lot better. As it is, well, it's not offensive, but I wouldn't pick it up again for myself. What can I say? Kind of so-so. If you like your brown ales on the drier side, almost to a little bit almost to the edge of the style in regards to dryness, give this a try. If you're like me and you like your brown ales with a bit more residual sugar, a bit more balance with the hops, then sorry. Thing is blowing. There's a big wind. It's kind of blowing the curtains this way. So get up off of that brown. Nice can at least. I think I'll finish this up and have another. Like I said, not offensive. It's not something I would pour out, but not really something that piques my interest either. So. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.